The Tasty Podcast Network at tastypodcast.com.
4256.
We were on 6 at South by Southwest. We were waiting for Mason's dad to pick us up, and all of a sudden, this car comes, coming around the corner 60 miles an hour, and we couldn't move before it just plowed us down. I was facing her, and so as I was getting hit, I watched my best friend just get hit like a bowling pin.
I'm glad that you're safe.
Yeah.
Otherwise, my heart dropped when...
She sustained several major injuries, including a cervical spine fracture, a broken nose, a broken femur, which is your long bone in your leg, in your upper thigh, and a severed artery in her opposite leg. She did also sustain a concussion in this event and doesn't remember a lot of the actual accident. But she's doing great.
What song do you want to hear?
I would like to hear Just For Now, obviously.
Just For Now, sure.
But anything else would be fantastic as well.
Start off with Just For Now.
Okay.
I know it's all inside my head. I know I'm just like everyone said, that I'm stable in my mind as a burning house with time. But for the record...
Whoa! Whoa! Okay.
Whoa!
All right, that's an earthquake.
Whoa, yeah.
And that's a big one.
I think our society is run by insane people for insane objectives. And I think that's what I sussed when I was 16 and 12 way down the line. But I expressed it differently all through my life. It's the same thing I'm expressing all the time, but now I can put it into that sentence. I think we're being run by maniacs or maniacal ends. If anybody can put on paper what our government and the American government, etc., and the Russian, Chinese, what they are actually trying to do, and what they think they're doing, I'd be very pleased to know what they think they're doing. I think they're all insane.
Would you like me to show them how the sign of the curse works?
Sign
completely
of the curse?
different.
How does it go?
No, not at you people out there in the audience, but this is the difference.
Aim it toward Red China, would you?
This is the sign of the horn.
White alert! White alert! White alert! The mercenaries are here. Our patrols have spotted them in the jungle. Quick, drink the potion. They've come to kill us. Quick, drink the wine. Drink the wine. They'll be here with flamethrowers. Drink, drink. If you second, you'll feel drowsy. You'll lie down and go to sleep. Sleep forever.
Swung on a pitch, driven deep to right center field. That ball is going. It could be. It may be. Off the top of the wall. You should have seen it. I came out of retirement yesterday. Oh, how was your South by Southwest? Did you drink a lot? Huh? Did you smoke a lot of weed? Did you try to get past bouncers you thought were morons with not the right credential? Did you get selfies with famous people? I'm just talking about myself. Came out of retirement yesterday. You are listening to right now. Who just starts their own show, just being a braggart. But last night, well, because you know what? I haven't even started explaining it. I'm already ahead of myself and behind at the same time. How is that even possible? Played softball yesterday, which when I was playing in college, I always said to myself, I would never fucking play softball. I remember, just when you're being in your judgmental, dickish early 20s and thinking you've got the world beat, you've got the tiger by the tail, your whole life is ahead of you, and it's just pure passion and possibility, and who can stop me? And I remember like driving home after practice and seeing these softball schmoes, and it always, it really broke it down. If you're in a league and you're wearing pants, not like jeans, you're not the asshole playing in jeans, all right? And if you play in jeans, let's be real now. Come on, seriously. What are you really doing if you're playing in jeans? That being said, I had on camo shorts yesterday because I'm still hardcore. Even when I'm playing softball, I break it down and I keep it real. All right, let me go all the way back to the beginning. I woke up yesterday and I felt absolutely awful. I mean, I couldn't. South by absolutely took it out of me. All right. It was, you want to start with, I don't know. How about the KLBJ live remote? Hanging out with Bearden and Beto. CJ was out there. Hell, L.A. Lloyd was out there. How about that? Though it was like literally the whole KLBJ on-air staff was out hanging out at Maggie Mays, and it was a fun time. Shots were had. Pictures were taken. At one point, I looked up in my camera later on in the day, and I had worn a zebra head. And I now own... I always saw those pictures of the people on the internet who had those horse heads or the zebra heads, and they would take photos of themselves. I think Zach Wilde even has a video where the whole video is just him wearing this thing, and there's supposedly some story going on. I was so put off by how weirdly put together and how it didn't even fit the song. It was like, hey man, I want to make one of them humorous videos. I'm tired of our metal being serious, man. Give me that zebra head, man. Let's just do some improv, Let's just make it up as we go. I don't know what Zach Wilde really sounds like. I should probably grab some Zach Wilde audio to hear how he really sounds, because I think I just made him sound into my dumb version of who's the guy with the arrows? Back Nugent. I'm back. So the KLBJ live event was dope. We met. Look, I've been on the fence with this cryptocurrency. Okay, I've been back and forth with it. I said, look. All right, fine. This is the new way to conduct business. All right, the new way to conduct business is going to be done using these new currencies, which are going to be digital currencies, and the currency only is as valid as the trust you have in it. And since the computer has 100% trust, and you trust the computer, then you should feel good about this cryptocurrency. And I'm sure back in the day when there was just coins, or they were trading rocks or pottery or whatever they were doing with their free time, someone came along and they said, yeah, well, what if we just wrote this down on a piece of paper that it was worth whatever those shiny things over there? Give me your shiny things. I'm going to give you this piece of paper. You hang on. It's worth that. And his voice goes up because he's fucking full of shit, right? That's how that lie went down. So this is just the new currency. Bitcoin is just one of the cryptocurrencies out there. And of course you've heard of that because it's the most popular. It's the most managed. It's the safest. I had a conversation with Steve Wilkinson over there at Bitcoin, and I was like, and mind you, I go from talking about stand up with Beard. Next thing I know, I'm having shots. Next thing you know, I'm doing an interview thing. Next thing I know, I'm on stage introducing a band who actually kind of sounded like the Helicopters. I think they were called American Sharks. Check them out. I really enjoyed them. Three piece, kind of powerful, maybe like an old stripped down Motorhead vibe, but a little more rock and roll. Like I said, kind of like the Helicopters. So I brought them up, and then the next thing I know, I'm another beer and shot in, and I've got the guy from Bitcoin in a corner going, yeah, but what about this? What about this? And you know what? He had all the he had all the answers, and coming out of the conversation, every what if scenario that I could have concocted in my script writing head was absolutely answered. And now I'm looking at this and I go, yeah, you have to be pro if the digital currency is going to be the next thing, then you have to adopt. You just say, hey, yes, I'm on board. I'm not going to be the guy fighting. I'm not going to be the jerk back in whatever the hundreds was who was pulling out a sword because somebody wanted to give him paper money and he was still living in the land that coins were important. I'm important. And coins important. Come on, stay with it. Think about that though. Back when they moved from the look, and I'm not going to even go to Wikipedia. No, I'm not. I have the answer. I'm sure right in front of me. What was it like when they went from the? And if you know it, if maybe you're an egghead, maybe you went to college and got a degree into something that your parents were somewhat proud of, they would kind of give a different version. I remember like my mother go, well, he was in college and he got a liberal arts degree. Yeah, well, he's really involved in baseball now and he's in a band. She could have said I was but anytime you tell somebody, there's only a few times in your life where you can say, yeah, I'm a philosophy major, where it's going to carry some weight. All right. Normally I always pull it out. I always pull it out in a situation where it's going to make me look smart for some reason. Where they're going to be like, well, fuck, he just said he was a philosophy major. Those dudes, for the most part, know. Well, if they know one thing, it's they know how to fucking avoid life. How about that? Yeah, isn't that it? Didn't we just get liberal arts degrees because every message I had growing up in the 80s said you don't really have to grow up. Well, what am I going to go wear a suit? I'm doing blow, in one of these Wall Street after part. I saw one movie in the 80s and it just was enough when I said, oh, is that what they do in their free time? I'm good. I'm going to get a liberal arts degree. I'm going to coach baseball and I'm just going to spend the rest of my life drinking Miller Lite and hitting fungos. I think that's an absolutely phenomenal way to spend the rest of your life. And I had it all laid out. 2 kids, a house. I'm managing some college baseball team somewhere in some bum crap city, and I should do that. Yeah, I should get a baseball job. All right, yeah, I should get a job back in college. What is this guy? Well, oh, my coach, hey, coach isn't going to be at practice today. He's doing a podcast, and then he has to jump on a bus to go to Minot, North Dakota to do 30 in front of an Indian tribe because he owes them a gambling debt. Oh, Miller Lite, my friend. So I peppered Steve from Bitcoin. Oh, let me get back to the other point that I want to make. When they change currencies over from the coin to the thing, there were people willing to die for this, all right? So just like right now, what's happening in the world, all this global terrorism, this missing plane, and I don't care what your theory, I actually really do care what your theory is. I absolutely want to know. In fact, there's a thread started right now on my Facebook page. Head on over there and throw me your 2 cents, all right? Was the thing disintegrated? Was it a terrorist act? Was it aliens? Was it a genetic experiment to do mind control? That was mine after a couple. Did it just crash? Shit happens. Things sink. We can't find the debris. We're really not looking that hard, to be honest, because if we keep you distracted with this story, you're not going to be paying attention to what's happening over there in the Crimea, or whatever they call it, all right? And I'll tell you right now, what's being pushed in the mainstream media is being there to just distract you from the real truth, is that troops are amassing on borders, and the supposed sanctions that Obama is putting down on Russia or putting down on the Crimea or whoever he's putting. I read nothing about this. You're going basically on headlines, and you know what I know about headlines? They're all full of shit. So I'm just giving you my worldview based on the few headlines that I've read, and what I'm going to put together is the following scenario that I think is going on in the world. All right. The Russian troops are massing on the Crimea border. Everyone in Crimea is like, yeah, we're on board. You really don't have to come here. We wanted to be with you anyways. Ukraine, on the other half's going, yeah, but we were supposed to be with the EU so we could have a little bit more freedom. And it kind of seems like they're doing better over there. You ever notice like all the crazy videos of the Russians getting run off the road or diving in front of a bus, like some insurance? Russia's bad. Why does everybody have a camera in the front of the car? Is it so wild west out there that you have to have a camera searching for what's going to be in front of you in case Vlad drops from Vlad. Is that a Russian name? All right, Sergey. Yeah, Sergey is absolutely a Russian name. So Sergey doesn't want to wait in the bread line, and that, like, I say bread line like it's still happening, like people are still in line from the 80s. So he leaves his bread line and he says, fuck it, I'm out of here. And he dives in front of a dump truck who skids to a halt, and the guy gets up like nothing happens. Obviously there's gnarly shit going on over there in Russia, and Ukraine's in the middle going, why don't we just be like the Germans and have those weird discos? Why don't we just do that? It seems like they're having a good time. You know, the Europeans are a strange lot. I can't wait to get back over there and experience them. Look, just being here at South by, there was a ton of people from all over the country. All right? Anyways, I'm talking to Steve from Bitcoin, and he answered every single question that I have about cryptocurrency, and I feel good about it. That being said, I'm all in pro Bitcoin. As soon as I figure out how to do donation with Bitcoin, I'm going to have that up there. All right, to-do list, Johnny, get a baseball job in a small town in Idaho. Check. All right, and then let's see. We're going to get heavy into Bitcoin. We're going to figure that out. We're going to get some money so we can get heavily into Bitcoin, because I don't think they just give you Bitcoins. I just don't think you go, don't you think Bitcoins is like all right, look, this is just me. This is just one guy talking. I'm just spitballing ideas here. I'm new in the cryptocurrency game, but I'm like, what if you just give away some of the free ones? You know, just give away like, look, here's a quarter of a Bitcoin. It's worth $14. Come on in. All right. And then, you know, they come out of whatever that pile. I'm assuming there's piles. I don't even know how this stuff works. I just know that I believe in it, and I'm pro Bitcoin. I'm going to get my own Bitcoin ATM. Look, you guys know that Austin, Texas is ground zero for cryptocurrency. What does that tell you? Anyways, this whole thing that's going on in the Ukraine is literally nothing about, it's all about money. It is absolutely all about money. They're fleecing the billionaires over there who have heavy investments in the region so they can go ahead and get after that money. And then the powers that be are launching more war, more conflict into the planet to spill more blood, to feed the beast, which is the negative energy that keeps this going, using our free will and mankind. And that's why there are always going to be people who in the Crimea says, yeah, we're fine being over here. And the people who say, nah, I'm going to pick up a brick and throw it. And the guy who said, I'm going to accept the new paper currency is not the guy who is fighting to the death and getting his head chopped off because he said coins rule, bro. I don't know back in the day if they said bro or rule. All right. But I think there was a time in our history where that was a believable thing. All right. So that being said, I left the live remote and I went down and checked out I was at the Mohawk. You know, the only musical act that I saw during South by Southwest was Power Trip, and who are from Fort Worth. I believe they're from Fort Worth, and they had you know, kind of a heavy day all around. One of their good friends and a hardcore kid that I knew, Rando, had passed on, and so rest in peace. It's always sad when kids go way too long, especially hardcore kids, man. It's like, you know, just enjoy going to every hardcore show you can while you still can, and look around and you see those people, and like, well, one of these days everyone's gonna go, you know what I mean? Everyone goes in their time anyways, but when we all love this stuff, so when you go to shows, just enjoy it, man. Enjoy the friends who are there. Forget about petty beefs, man. It's about looking around and going, damn, we were all brought here because this music is so badass and it actually means something to us. And Power Trip was at Mohawk and they crushed. Absolutely crap. I mean, I've seen a lot of bands here as of late, and if you guys if you haven't checked them out, I think they're on Twitter, Power Trip TX. I'm pretty sure it's like just Google Power Trip Hardcore, Power Trip Dallas. You're gonna find it. They're fucking phenomenal. Like I said, I've been saying it for long. I'm touting two bands. All right, I'm taking it to my grave. Power Trip and Take Offense are gonna be the new. Hell, I'll say it. All right, you want to say this? Power Trip and Take Offense are gonna be the next AF Chromex. I'll say it right now. All right, and you put Terror in there, and you put Hatebreed, and one day there's going to be a hardcore Hall of Fame, and those four bands are going to be side by side by side by side. What if we just took off another side? We were just side by side, said the guy who made up that band name. So I went over and hanging out in front of Mohawk, I met Andrea from Marshall Headphones, and I'll tell you right now, As a guy who's talking into a microphone and listening to himself, his own fat voice, which is out of breath, a little parched right there. Oh, good? How good is that? And it's St. Patrick's Day, you know. And I said I'm not going out with the amateurs. I'm not going to go out. Plus, I'm sore. I'll get to that later. All right, look. And I met Andrea from Marshall Headphones, and she was awesome enough to give me a pair of Marshall headphones, which I'm currently rocking. So thank you very much. She said that a studio quality cans were going to be on the way. So thank you in advance for that. It was cool, you know. And why shouldn't I be using Marshall headphones? Think about it. Shouldn't I absolutely have Marshall headphones on my head at all times? The best guitar rig I ever had, okay? Oh my God, you turn on a JCM 800, you scoop the mids, you bury the lows, you bury the highs, bro, you are raging. You don't even need a distortion pedal, man. It's like literally, I mean, there was a thing. Marshall always had that strict Marshall's tone, and I always liked my gain a little higher. And so it's certain solid state heads from the 80s had the ability to rival the JCM 800, but look, let's be honest, as guitar players, nothing beats the sound of a Marshall absolutely cranked. Especially my favorite thing was playing in small venues. You know, playing in tiny venues where nothing even needed to be mic'd. That was the best hardcore you could get because the music just filled the room as pure energy, pure mosh, and someone usually got punched in the face and thrown through a mattress which was guarding a window. Oh, he brought it back to an old school. I'm playing golf this week. What do you think about that? Huh? I will. I will once I don't feel like crap. I'll tell you, I woke up this morning and I call it the soreness, call it the fact that I came out of softball retirement. And like I said, I never thought I'd play. I always told myself, no, you are not going to play beer league softball. You're never going to do. And that is what I did yesterday. Is that all right? Am I judging myself for one afternoon? And it wasn't even my idea. When we woke up yesterday, Dina said, she said, look, we're going to go get, look, this out. You have your badge for Miller, right? Yeah, you have. Well, we'll bring that badge and they're going to have a barbecue. And then we went down to a park and they had the most dope barbecue setup spot. It was actually sponsored by Miller Lite. Ah, look at him. It's product plug bonanza. And so yeah, we the next thing I know, I'm mocking up, and I show my age, and they look at my ID, and I crack a Miller. I'm hanging to my buddy Monty Wayne, which you guys know, of course, from the latest episode of Disrupt the Illusion that I did there with Pat Dean and Montgomery Wayne. Go check that out at potaholics.com. And I'm standing there, and Monty goes. And he's wearing a jersey. He's wearing a South by Southwest white, you know, like those baseball undershirts that have like the white front and like the colored sleeves. They had those, and it said South by Southwest, a little logo on the front. And he goes, "We're playing softball. You want to play?" And I thought about it, and then I forgot that I'd even told myself no. At no time in my life, fuck that. What am I going to be, a guy out there way past his prime, just trying to hang on? My first at bat. I was a shot up the middle. Tole is hoofing it down the line. He's made 30 steps so far. He's still 70 feet from the bag. I legged it out. I think I got a fielder's choice and an RBI for my first at bat. Now I'm back in the mindset of here it's back to the game that you knew. It's back to the focus that you had when you really had it all together. When you didn't even when the ability to see the pitcher's pitch, to be able to understand his release point, and at that point of releasing the ball, you knew exactly based on just his hand motion where that pitch was going to go, and in a split millisecond, you made a decision, you put a swing on the ball, that all of those individual million thoughts just happened instinctively due to muscle memory programming. And now I'm back. And now at this point, I'm 0 for 1, because it's 0 for 1. It's a fielder's choice. I did get a ribby. All right. So I'm still batting 0. All right. And in my head, I'm going, are you kidding me? I tell myself my whole life, I'm not going to play beer league softball. And then I relent. Okay. Cause I'm down with the sponsor and I love South by Southwest and I have this ability to play. Yeah. Well, now I care. All right. And now I'm actually wondering about my stats. Now I actually care about how I'm doing. I want our team to win. All right. First, I was just like, I'm just going to have a couple pops. I'll see if I can get the ball out of here. Well, the first field that we played on, we were playing in a hurricane. And the wind was blowing in. I think I ended up going 2 for 3. They put me at third base, which is always a nightmare for me because I have zero range left or right. And then I said, what are you going to do? Dive? You're going to lay out and dive? What are you, one of those a-holes? You know? And so I made a couple good plays. I think I had a couple throwing errors on the day. Game 2, we were down by 3 runs going into the last inning, and brought it within 1 run with 1 out there in the bottom of the 4th because we were playing timed. Apparently they don't do all the innings. Okay, there's a timer running down, so it's like you're doing NBA, you know. And screw anybody who says who tries to call timeout and talk to the ump to run the time down. I saw a couple of guys trying to pull that move. So that's why ultimately I said instinctually, nah, I probably don't need to be involved in the softball game. And so I went over, and so what the fuck am I talking about? What the hell did you just say? I'm on a path. We're down by 1 run. Runner on second base. No, the game's tied. The game is tied. Runner on second base. 1 out. I step to the plate, and now it's, all right, you got to drive it. You got to use the wind because the wind was gusting out to right. So I said, look, I just need a pitch. Middle out. That's it. If this guy throws one middle out, I'm gonna set up. I'm gonna cheat off the plate so he thinks I'm looking for an inside pitch. All right, but secretly I know that I'm going to stride in. Look, I'm already doing mental games. I'm already back. You're lucky I didn't eat a can of SpaghettiOs and go drink a Mountain Dew like I used to do in my old rituals. You know, look, that's what happens when you get back into this game, and you're like, well, it's all back. It's all my muscle memory programming, but it's also all of the mental stuff that went along with the game that I could only put certain things in certain pockets, and I would only wear one stirrup, and I would only can drink Mountain Dew on game days. I could only eat SpaghettiOs on game days. Are you going to get a donut? Well, it better be a Bear Claw. You're lucky I don't have 5 games this week. I'm going to gain 7 pounds with this ritual I have. And there I am, and I drove the ball. Oh, and he threw it middle out, and I crushed it off the top, or there's that yellow pipe that goes along the top of the wall, and it hit like the middle part of it down and then just dropped straight down. At that point, my hamstring, I had hurt my, and I don't even want to admit this. All right. Earlier in that game, I dove for a ball. I told myself I would not dive, and I had my cell phone in my pocket, and I said, well, you know, I'm more than likely I normally don't dive to my left. I will dive across my body to the right if they hit one down the line. And a guy hit a screamer down the line, and I actually made a good play on it. It was just too fast, and then I look up, and while I'm dusting myself off, and the play is still going on, this guy's about to round second, head to me. I've got my phone out because I want to make sure that my fat ass didn't crush the phone. And then I put the phone back in my pocket, and then I take the throw at third. We get the guy out, but now for some reason that dive mixed with the fact that I had not been doing any running, I don't know, since the 90s, and then all of a sudden I'm on my second full softball game, and I'm running on and off the field because I still want to hustle. All right, I still would even play beer league softball running onto the field. I'm not stepping on the line. Of course not. So I run across, I hop over the line, I run to third base, I touch it with my left foot, and I turn around to my left, and I'm ready to take grounders to keep my arm. You guys have no idea how mentally screwed I used to. When I was slumping in junior college, I used to have a picture that I ripped out of a porno magazine of the most perfect vagina known to mankind, and I had that saved, and it would be on the inside of my hat. And I remember my coach saying, "Look, if you ever just need to collect your thoughts, you have to have a vantage point. Maybe you look at the top of that tree, and when you tell yourself, 'Look, I'm looking at the top of the tree.' All right, well, then I'm going to relax. I'm going to get back in the game. Forget about the error. Forget about the running error. Forget about the pitch that you should have driven when you took it. All right, forget about all the mental stuff that you collect that doesn't have you be in that moment. You got to have something on this field that you can do that." And I had a vagina picture inside of my hat. So I remember just like the picture being the windup, and I'd be looking at my hat saying how long I could look at that pussy before I put the hat on my head to start to get ready for the pitch. So that was one of my rituals. So then I dove my hammies, my left hammy. And that's a hamstring for those of you who wonder what I was just talking about. I swear to God, I think I pulled my hamstring. I had to limp off the field and tell Rob, who is our pitcher and our manager, and tell him, hey, dude, I think I pulled my hamstring. I was like, can I just play catcher? And so now, not only did I start my whole life saying, I'm not going to play beer league softball. All right, I'm going to play beer league softball. I'm not going to dive. Shit, I just dove. Now what? I'm going to play the worst, not even right. Like, remember like when we were kids and you sucked, they'd throw you in right? All right, that's just what we did. And you got one at bat and you played for 2 innings because you had to, because you signed up. All right, like that kid. I'm that, but in beer league softball. So even with my skill level, I'm still relegated into my life down to that sad level. But the ball's driven deep. Oh, look at it go. And I'm watching it just cascade. And I go, oh shit, I just hit a walk-off. And I'm glad because I can barely limp it to first. And that's what I did. I ended up walk-off single, put us into the championship game, facing, we were representing the records, like record labels, and I think print media was the team that we ended up playing in the championship game, pitched by none other than Mr. Charlie Sotelo, the king of South by Southwest comedy, who was beautiful enough to give me a wristband and let me go down there. And I went down to Esther's and caught a little bit of the Grolic show. If you guys aren't familiar, or you guys want to get on board with probably some of the best comedy going on in the country, check out the Grolics. It's a show that's curated out of Denver. Comics who run it are absolutely hysterical, and trust me, you're going to do yourself a huge favor by checking it out. And so there the ball is. Now we're in the championship game. Now I have yet another ball going off into the distance that's now burned into my mind, and it's fresh. Oh, doesn't it feel good? Oh, to have glory days. Oh, I'm just singing Bruce. What was the other song? They were playing that song. They were playing Glory Days, and they were playing that one Don. Didn't Don Henley? God, why can't Google anything? How am I going to learn about cryptocurrency, what's happening in the Ukraine, and Don Henley if I don't have the internet? How am I going to learn these things? I was too busy at South by to even use the internet, but I was also too busy at South by to read any papers or magazines. So I said, I gave myself one rule. All right, I'm going to head down and I'm only going to pick out 8 stories. That's it. John, you get 8 stories. The first 8 stories you click on are the only 8 stories you get this whole week. All right, until you get another magazine and you learn something better, or maybe you have a conversation with a real life person, or maybe you read a couple newspapers. All right, so I said, as soon as you find 8 stories, you're off the internet. That's it. I printed them out. I got them handy dandy, ready to go. The championship game opened up 3 for 3. Oh, who's batting 1,000 against Charlie Sotelo? And the first pitch he threw me, I Charlie Browned him, which is a line drive right over the pitcher's head. It's my favorite. Crushed another one off the wall. We ended up winning a football score of 21-14. I am now an owner and a proud recipient of a South by Southwest championship trophy. I'm going to be put on a trophy. I now have a medal. I'm back. And look, even from the catcher position on a championship team in a beer league softball where I had to play catcher because I hurt my hammies because I'm so out of shape, even then, he still got it. Oh, he's still got a walk-off, playing well in the field. I got bowled over as the catcher. So I got trucked. Do you understand how shitty that is? I was like, the guy hit me, and I was like, what are you doing? And he goes, I didn't realize. The guy didn't even know the ball was coming. And the next thing I know, I caught it, and he ran me over. He was still out because I fucking held on to the ball. All right, did I just say I'm sorry. I held on to the ball, unlike Gina Davis at the end of that one movie with Madonna. Jeez, could you know less about the peaches? Oh, where were the peaches for? You know what? I love that movie, League of Their Own. Say what you want. Tom Hanks was dynamite in that movie. And Tank Girl, even though she was annoying as the whole thing, I didn't mind her. And then let's talk about Gina. Gina Davis, hands down. I mean, we're talking if the beauty of those 1950s starlets where they were just pure perfection. That's Gina Davis, all right? Well, I'm thinking she's like 6'10", right? Don't you think she's like a real Amazon person, right? She's giant, you know? Her, if I could have the ultimate three-way I think you could ever have as a living adult, all right? We're talking, you got to go Gina Davis, right? And then Gillian Anderson. Oh, a couple redheads, a couple just the hot. Can we be honest here? If you bang Scully, you win life. You win life. You have been inside of a woman who believes in aliens. I don't know that she believes in aliens. I just know that the X-Files weirded me out because every time the X-Files theme comes on and that whistle comes on, it bothers me. I get freaked out. There's two things that bother me in TV. The whistle from the X-Files, all right? And then the flicking eyeball on Walking Dead. Those two things, I literally have to turn my head away because I go, I don't like the way that feels. I don't like the way that feels. So it would be me, naked, Gillian Anderson, Gina Davis. Oh, and we all have catcher's mitts. How awesome would that be? Come on, who's with me? But I'm a champion, and that's how yesterday started, and that's why I'm sitting here today absolutely sore. I've never been this. Not my shoulder. My shoulder is on. I've had 6 Advils today and 2 Venti Starbucks. Okay, that and a couple beautiful beverages here in the production studio. But now I have to stretch. I have to see if I can stretch and get my muscles to not be. I'm walking around. You ever see a guy who believes he has back pain and he just lumbers to and fro, and you're like, yeah, dude, but if you just had different beliefs in life, you wouldn't be injured. You know, they always have some BS story about how their back hurts. You're like, come on, dude. It's all in your head. You know, the problem is people with back pain, you can't tell them it's in their head because they don't understand that's how this works. That's why I don't have back pain, even though I'm a disgusting fat fuck in his way early to mid 40s with a gut that hangs over that is even embarrassing for beer softball league standards. I don't have back pain because I don't stress about things. All right. That's where back pain comes from. That's where tension comes from. It comes from worrying about those things that you can't control. And so, look, the money that you have is the money that you need. Don't let it weigh you down. And if you don't do that, then you'll be more creative, and you'll be a jukebox hero in the softball sense, and you'll be back and crushing it. Oh, yeah. Oh. Where do we go from here? Where do we go now? Who gets so emphatic that they knock their own headphone mixer off? It's like, I know I'm making a point, and I move my fat sore leg, and I kick my headphone splitter right off the production center. Then I can't hear myself. Then I go, well, if I'm really recording, if a podcast falls down in the woods, does anyone listen to it? He yells out into silence. But that's it. So now I've got absolutely right now, and I'm doing that. Like remember when you used to sit at your desk in your cubicle and you thought about how your life was going to be different, but you got a philosophy and you had ruined it. You got a philosophy degree and you had ruined your life. Remember how you used to just sit there and you would say, God, I need to stretch a little more. I need to be a little more active. I think if I was in better shape, I would be able to escape this cubicle. You remember that? You would stretch, and then your boss would look at you, and you realize you hadn't done anything in like 4 or 5 hours, and you had 2 choices at that point. You either had to look him in the eyes and go, yeah, I'm not doing anything today, because go fuck yourself. That's actually something. Or you actually felt bad for the dude because he was a nice person, so you'd always do just a minimum enough so where he would let you screw up. Like my favorite bosses, I could do 100% of my work and 10% of my week. And as long as I did that, they would give me 90% of the week to do whatever I want. Oh, is he in the break room again? Well, it's so-and-so's birthday, and he's got a mitt full of cake, and he's stuffing it home. He's telling the Filipinos not to cook fish in the microwave. He's tagging up corporate signs, putting mustaches on people, and making dick jokes, and figuring out where the cameras are so I can get away with stuff in the office as I go from cubicle to cubicle, just the cubicle whisperer, bringing humor and good times. But that's how I used to stretch. That's how I used to stretch in the cubicle, and I would just lean forward. And now I'm still like I feel like I haven't left. I feel this is the same amount of soreness that I used to have then. And so now Dina goes, why don't you just go get a massage? And I was like, could you imagine? Like, I've worked some shit jobs in my life, and I understand there are people who are driven, who have a passion, to have a passion to go and they want to help people, and they enjoy giving and I'm not talking about a sicko massage here. I'm not, all right? I'm just saying the actual therapy people that actually like doing that, and they spend 8 hours a day like kneading dough, like, you know, that cat sits on you and does the pause thing, like those people just winging it in there and just massaging out. And then I go, yeah, but that person on a Monday, do they need to see me? Am I the body they need to be touching? Is that fair? Is that fair to them? That's literally the thought in my head. I absolutely could use a massage. It would feel good to get this tension out of my body. I had a weird week. All right, I had a absolutely weird week, and now the softball on top of it, and I'm just carrying some serious tension. I feel like I could just snap a hammy at any second. I got a sore shoulder from throwing it. All right. Oh, and whose arm is back? Oh, I was gunning it. Oh, I've got a legit solid arm, and I could really bring it if I needed to. So I'm a little sore there. My rotator's a little bit, my trapezius a little sore. The right knee feels like it's out of place. All right. What else? Yeah. My shins hurt. For some reason, my shins are sore. Okay. But you know what? I had a walk-off. I had a couple plays at the plate. We turned a double play. We're now the proud champion of South by Southwest softball for 2014. Power Trip is the greatest hardcore band that I've seen in the last 2 years. And I'm back. And we're going to get our Bitcoins together, and we're going to go buy a cabin somewhere in Idaho, and we're going to coach a Division III junior college team of misfits. And on that spot, we're going to go ahead and do comedy on the week. Who's putting the light? Oh God, man, that's exactly what. Let's fucking do some dream. God, did I say the F word? Look, and I apologize. Last week was an F fest, and I hope I'm gonna have to go through this and listen to them, make sure I don't say anything moronic or more moronic than normal. But last week, there's sometimes that I just get on a ramble, and the F word just comes flying out, and it's over and over and over and over and over, and there's times when you just gotta go, dude, you can't say that. Then I go on the radio, I'm not swearing, I don't screw up. Oh God, I did an interview once. We're in Houston radio, and it was when one of my bands got an FM spot, and so we were in there, and I had actually done radio, and so we're all sitting in there, and the jock looks around the room and he goes, "Don't cuss. You guys can say anything you want. Don't say anything graphic, and don't cuss." And then so we made it. We were only going to be in there for like 7 minutes. It was a super, super short break. And then about minute 5.5, my guitar player drops the F-bomb just because he's bad at talking. And I remember thinking, and that reminds me of the scene. That reminds me, what was the Vietnam movie where he tells his mom to pass the F in potatoes? Send me an email on Facebook or Twitter and let me know what movie that was. I absolutely forget. But I don't know how far we're into this thing right now. I can't. My eyes are. I can see a slow arc pitch softball and drive it off the wall opposite field with power and limp around the bases and get a double when most people would have a triple. But I can still see a softball with clarity. I can still see a baseball with clarity. I just can't see letters that are 2 feet away from my head if they're small. So I don't know how long we're into this podcast, but I think it's actually time to start it. What do you think?
Now I know what those sad villagers of Pompeii felt like. Except where they were rained down on hot lava, I rained down on those villagers with frothy ejaculate.
Old head, new metal. Oh yeah, new metal. We're back. All right. Yeah, old head, new metal. But this week it's not metal. It's one of the. I got to catch a few minutes of this. I walk into the venue, and there's 3 black kids on stage, and one kid, he's got like dreads. Another kid's more kind of like I don't know, more of like an old school punk vibe. And the drummer's like really young, like he's like maybe 15, 16 years old, and they start playing, and these kids, dude, Singer's got a dope voice. He's got great leads. The energy of the band was perfect, and the drummer brought it, and the three of them working together put together some really, really good punk rock music. So I went down a wormhole where I listened to not only this band, who are called Radkey. Check them out on the internet, or of course we're going to play a track here. They've been touring all over the globe. They got dates in England. They're actually going to be in San Diego when I'm in San Diego in May, in late May. I think they have a show. What was that stupid? The venue. Dude, I swear to God, they're playing the Casbah. All right, we're gonna go old school. I'm gonna bring some old San Diego heads out, and I want you guys to check out this band. They're called Radkey, and I met the singer. I met the singer after the show, and we talked. I said, "Hey, you guys are good, man. You guys are really, really good." I mean, you know what I love about it? You can hear their influences in the music, but the music is 100% original, and that's what I love about it. And the energy was there. It was perfect. The kids were cool as fuck. They were super nice. I said, F word again. Johnny, what are you doing? The kids were super nice, and I talked to the singer, and come to find out, they're all brothers. They're all related. The singer's 20. His brother's the bass player. He's 18, and the drummer's 16. And, dude, could you imagine that? You're like, Mom, Dad, we're going out on tour, all right? We're going to bring punk to the masses. Anyways, this is Radkey, and that's Radkey. Radkey. If you look, check this out, and go search them on the internet. They have albums for sale. I believe that they have their own .com. So go over there and check them out, and they have a ton of live tour dates. And do yourself a favor and see these guys, because huge things are coming their way. All right, check it out.
Start freaking out.
and I'm a suicidal maniac. Oh, how good was joining the Army. Well, let's get into some news. Like I said, I was only able to get 8 stories. And of course, the story of the day, if you've been on the internet, you've been on Twitter, you know they had an earthquake in LA. And now that everybody and their mother has social media, you're going to hear about how unfunny the earthquake coverage is. I didn't see one single line the whole day that was worth a crap. Magnitude 4.4 earthquake that struck near Westwood is the most significant shake in Southern California since a 5.5 earthquake hit Chino Hills in '08. And what's the title? And we're on LATimes.com. This is the headline of the article, all right? This is how little they think of you. 4.4 earthquake near LA could be foreshock for bigger quake. Could you? Yes, obviously, if this isn't the big quake and the big quake might be next, then yeah, this could be the foreshock of the bigger quake. We get it. And that's why I played the audio up top of the anchor being more, because what? Now all of the news shows were going on. And to tell you the truth, I like the amount of diversity that I saw in the videos, all right? It wasn't just all hot white chicks or old white guys. There was a solid mix of a little bit of everybody. And so, I don't know, that seemed to be the story of the day was people hiding under desks. I know the first time we moved to California in 77, and I want to say within a week of moving there, we had our first earthquake when we were staying in the hotel before our house closed, or we were waiting on all our furniture to be driven across country. And so there was an earthquake, and I remember just going, oh, well, that's it. And that was back in the 70s when they would have an earthquake movie. You ever go on the earthquake ride on Universal Studios? Oh, you're doing that, and then you're going to Jaws. You want to pet the I always want it. When I finally get the amount of money that I need in this world, all right, I'm going to rent that Jaws shark ride, okay? And I'm going to put a saddle on it, all right? And I'm going to go, and I'm going to just be, these people are going to be going to see Universal Studios, but on my day, the day that I pay, I'm coming out of the water riding the shark. Shirtless. So if you didn't think that the shark was horrifying enough, maybe my fat jiggling who can barely play softball would be enough. Robert Graves said there's been at least 6 aftershocks since the 6:25 a.m. earthquake, the largest so far, magnitude of 2.7. So maybe this wasn't the first precursor of the big one. How about that? There's always a small possibility the 4.4 earthquake was only a prelude to an equal or stronger shake. Quote, always the possibility that it's a foreshock. He added the 5% of earthquakes are followed by an equal or larger shake if it does happen. All right, so of course it could. There's a 5% chance that the next one's going to be bigger. So what are you worried about? I tell you, when I was in middle school, when I finally really was outside for one, and I remember that just the ground shook a little bit, and I was like, oh, my stomach doesn't feel good. And I looked up, and I don't know, like, how to even explain it. Like, like you throw a rock in the water and the water like ripples. Well, it was doing that, but it was like the ground was undulating. And it wasn't like my eyes weren't shaking and going up and down. I was literally watching the ground move in a wave-like fashion as that energy from the tectonic plates is released and sent out. It's awe-inspiring, all right? I mean, look. It's nothing really to be scared of. That being said, this is going to be the podcast that forecasts California falling in. Oh, what would you do then? Oh, well, I guess at that point you'd move to Pahrump and you would move next to Art Bell, and the two of you could just boogie board with your free time. That's what me, George Norrie, and Art Bell are all going to get, and we're all going to be friends, and we're all going to play beer league softball. That's what I've decided, that the three of us are just going to just smoke. I assume Art Bell and George Norrie smoke weed. If they don't, then I'm going to be really bummed out, all right? I'd be really bummed out if you finally got to hang at the coast-to-coast level. Oh, you're hanging with those? Oh, it'd be a dream, an absolute dream to just be palling around. Oh, west of the Rockies, can you pass the ketchup? Oh, look, I'm already saying my jokes. So, look. Now I'm on LATimes.com. That's the first story that I clicked on because it was the story of the day. And then of course they're going to give you, have you filled out your March Madness bracket? Well, I'm not clicking on that because I don't care. I don't care about March Madness. All right. I don't. Basketball to me is boring. College basketball, really boring. What about L. Ren Scott, fashion designer found dead? I'm not clicking. She's young. Looks like she's I don't know. I'm probably clocking 37 in the photo that I can see. She's showing a little bit of ear right there. She's dead. I'm not clicking on that. Smothered by smog. Paris banned some cars. Well, maybe if it's bad, look, we know what's going on in China. All right, look, if the thing, but I'm not clicking on that either. Photo of the day, I'm not clicking on that. And then, of course, South by Southwest crash. Third person dies from injuries. And I'll tell you, just because being in and around the venue all week for South by, the amount of I don't think aside from the news stories who were there promoting SXSWcares.com, which is the website you can go to donate, and that money is going to go to the families who now have to relocate. Some of the people who are injured are from out of the country, and so their family, their friends, whoever's taking care, whoever's in their life that has the ability to travel to be with these people while they recover. And some of them didn't recover, and that's the story here, is that the third one didn't make it. So SXSWcares.com, South by Southwest Cares.com. There's an ability for you to go on there and donate. So if you're listening, you're wondering, hey, what is there something I could help out in any way? It's a tragedy. These people were going to go to a festival to have a good time, all right? To just say, yeah, I love interactive stuff. I want to learn about I want to see the new movies coming out. I want to see hysterical comedians. I want to rub elbows with celebrities. I want to be part of the amazing energy that's South by Southwest, and then to have this tragedy happen. So that money is going to go to help their families who are going to come here and help them get back to health. And how awesome the Austin Statesman and that band that I played there up at the top to go in and actually play for one of the folks who is currently recovering. She was a super fan of their band, and they went and visited. I only promised myself 8 stories, and I don't have that. I don't have the information on the band, but check. All right, just go to Austin Statesman. Band plays for fan, and you're going to see the video. It's heartwarming. It's absolutely heartwarming. So go and it's those rays of sunshine in this time that are absolutely needed to keep our minds focused on the beautiful things in life. I know that when the call went out over the radio, they said shut the front doors, and when I walked out and saw, because I was running VIP inside of the venue, and I walked outside and I saw the first immediate thing that caught my eye was there was a woman in the street who was being attended to there were some onlookers there who were helping. One guy was already doing CPR, and I haven't seen CPR done in person. And I remember just looking and really she was completely obscured. So all I could see was his back working on her, trying to get her to come back to life. And I could see her feet, and there's no activity going. And I just said, this is terrible. And just looking down the street and seeing all of the folks who were getting care, immediate care from the staff at the Mohawk, who did extremely an incredible job of taking care of the fans in front of the venue, providing every level of service and security as that scene developed. And say what you want about the Austin police, say what you want about Chief Acevedo, say what you want about comments made on the internet and where you fall on that. And I know that with the jogger being arrested and some suspects being shot in sketchy situations, that what I was witness to were the first responders who were on scene immediately providing care for these folks. And then when that woman, they brought her back. They watched her as we were moving the crowd back and making sure that the people weren't filming and taking pictures, and we moved them to a safe distance and to come back, and they had her breathing again. And it was like, oh, well, there's a little bit of hope here. There's a little bit of hope here in this scene. And come to find out, third person injured in last week's South by Southwest has died. Sandy Lee, 26, was treated at the Breckenridge there in Austin. Her relatives announced her death today, St. Patrick's Day. The Lee family and team care to report that Sandy Lee is deceased. And, it's like all you can do is really pray in that scene. And you know, the real takeaway from the experience, how absolutely horrifying it was watching people absolutely jump to service, whether they just instinctually did what was necessary in a situation. There was no training involved. It was just people helping people. And that's the, you know, unfortunately, you know, you always got to pull something positive, even out of the worst tragedy. And to know that our only real purpose here is to serve other people and to really help them along. Or, you know, sometimes it's just people giving advice. Sometimes it's friends who are going through health issues. Sometimes it's friends who are going through mental issues. You have buddies who are growing up and getting older and they're not handling aging well. Sometimes you got to give them positive input and say, hey man, we're all doing this together. We're kind of all in the same game together. Sometimes people pick you up, you know, and that's a good thing. The victim was an organ donor and a tissue donor. So you know what? She's helping. Even in her passing, she's helping other people. The body's been brought to the medical examiners yet. As soon as the body's in the possession of our office, we'll be able to get more information about where her organs are going. The two others killed were Jamie West, 27, and Stephen Kramer, 35, of Amsterdam. Kramer was on a bicycle, and West was on a moped with her husband, who's currently hospitalized. So, look, go to that website and donate. That's the one thing when this Rashad person finally came to arrest, and they tackled him and they tased the piss out of him. He had killed two more people, and you got to wonder the level of evil that it takes to say, well, not only am I going to drive drunk, not only am I going to cause, you know, put people's harm in the way by driving drunk in the first place, and then to not only be so afraid of getting arrested for that you would drive illegally down a one-way street, that you would go through a barricade, nearly killing an officer. That same officer, this is the part that I didn't expect to happen. The next day, Chief Acevedo actually came and he talked to us, and he talked to everybody about what had happened. And you know, look, I've got my BS detectors on 9 all the time. All right, if especially somebody in a position of power, okay, and I tell you, I looked him in the eye and I got to meet him and I shook his hand and he had a conversation, and what he told us, what I didn't know, is that the same officer who was almost run down as this gentleman went through the barricade, okay, that same officer dove out of the way and then started on foot chasing that car as he drove through the crowd, as he hit the gentleman on the bicycle, as he hit the person on the moped, as he slammed into a cab, as he hit a tree, came to a stop, and tried to exit the vehicle. That same cop that had dove out of the way was the same cop that arrested that dude. That's absolute effort, okay? So maybe in these times we have to think about the people that are serving us, and we have to think about them in a way that, you know what, not one rotten apple spoils the whole bunch, all right? So maybe we shouldn't be painting them. And sure, look, I've got buddies. I get it. All cops are bastards when they're acting like cops. But when they're acting like first responders, you have to respect the effort of that guy that he went to run headlong, and all of the first responders who came out and helped out. And I guess, look, I can just keep saying, go and support that website and give money. And that's it. I don't want to take the show to a down note, but I just kind of, to tell you the truth, I just kind of want to get it off. When I was walking home, it's like that scene of Sandy Lee just laying there. It was just stuck. Even now, it comes back and it comes back, and you have to understand, like, man, you think about it, like, these are our poor soldiers overseas fighting for nothing that are seeing absolute carnage. What are they bringing back, and why do we not have the coping mechanisms? Why do we not have programs that can help people overcome the stuff that they're seeing that they can't get rid of? It clouds who you are as a person. You're not able to really, enjoy life to the fullest because those images are absolutely haunting. All right. Even now, it just comes in, and you just have to realize, look, it's here. And the only way to mitigate it when you're in a down position is say, how do you help other people? That's it. How can you serve other people? All right. And that's it. Be a good person. What do you want to be? You want to be a woman stung by a bee 1,000 times? Coming to you from the Independent. Oh, we're in the UK. An elderly woman suffered about 1,000 stings when she was attacked by a swarm of 75,000 killer bees. Well, who's running that census that covered her entire body. The 71-year-old who works for a telecommunications company, Verizon, was hospitalized after disturbing the nest of Africanized honeybees in an underground electrical vault in Palm Desert, Southern California. Could you imagine? Think about that, dude. Not only are you 71 years old, you still have a job. Think about that. All right. You make it to the ripe age of 71. You're still punching a clock. You're like, what are you doing this morning? I got to wrangle these bees. You still wrangling bees? Yeah, well, it's my passion. It's not. You're lying about that. I mean, I'm sure there's some guy in a beekeeper suit. All right. And he loves bees. And sure, he's used to getting stung. But come on, 1,000 times. Woof. Worse than that, oh, you got to live in Palm Desert. Nothing worse than that. 5 firefighters were also hurt as they tried to clear the swarm on See, there you go. First responders even coming. Dude, that's it. What do you do for a living? I'm a firefighter. I'm here to fight fires, motherfucker. That is a swarm of bees. I'm not. No. What if they get inside my air hose? They're going to stab up my neck. Then who's going to help me then? You know, look how out of shape I am. I barely got 3 for 5 in the championship game of the firefighter softball championship. Come on, I'm not going in. All right, I'll go into the swarm, but I'm not going to like it. What do you imagine that? You're getting stabbed. Lance Davis, a bee removal expert. Well, that all of a sudden my philosophy degree I feel a lot better about. Told Palm Desert Patch that the bees attacked after the woman ventured within 90 yards. They just went into her car and attacked. No, because that's your move. If you see a swarm of bees coming, dude, you're running in your car, and then you're fumbling with the keys because you have automatic windows, right? So she dove in this car. One of the windows was down. Could you just imagine 750,000 bees going like, you know, in a cartoon when the bees would come together and then it would turn into like a finger pointing at who they were about to screw over? You know what I mean? And then they just pour into the car and they're just 1,000 stings. Oh, could you imagine? Mr. Davis said her relatives tossed a blanket over and rushed her indoors. He said he removed the bees and planned to donate them to farm. These bees have the taste of blood. How can they be trusted? Not even the right training. Not even coming soon on the Animal Planet. Cesar Millan's new show, The Bee Whisperer. Oh, let me see. I think what is happening now is the honeybee is he's not knowing that you're establishing dominance in the hive. He has to know that you have the queen. And the queen is tied up and the queen licks your balls. And he has to know that or he will not respect you. That is the worst, no matter what I am doing with my free time. While their stings are no worse than other honeybees, they are considered much more aggressive than the European honeybee and have been known to relentlessly attack anything they perceive to be a threat. They can set movement within 50 feet, and their nests can often be found underground. Oh, God, what do you step on a bee's nest? Oh, your foot. Oh, I remember the first time I got stung by a bee, Northern California. In fact, we had just moved in. So we had moved. I had an earthquake, and a week later, I'm riding my bike, stung in the throat. Oh, he took it to the neck. Last year, a swarm of around 30,000 bees attacked a couple in Texas as they exercised their miniature horses, stinging the animals so many times. Oh, that's awful. God, could you imagine being in a relationship where the only fun you're having is playing with miniature horses? No, you're going to get those little bales of hay and you're putting them in the minivan and we're going. You put that horse in there now, all right? You wanted these things? Sure, we're going, all right? I know you're tired of combing it. You thought it was going to be like a real My Little Pony, and it's not, all right? So comb this thing, all right? You bought it, all right? Oh, now they're dead. Now, if your miniature horse gets stung to death, is that a situation where are you having a backyard? Are you having it's in a box? You know, you've got a couple rounded plots. You know, it's a couple crosses over there, like a roadside memorial. Are you doing that for your mini horses, or do they go to a place? No idea. I know one thing. I met Mac Wild. Boy, that was a non-segment. That was absolutely a non-segue right there. Look, I told you I only got 8 stories. All right, I gotta stretch this out. I'm not really stretching this out, but I met Mac Wild, who you might know as the actor from The Wire. He was the young kid who was part of the drug gang there. And it was, I'll tell you, one of the best hip hop artists that I experienced all week. That dude, he's a pro. Okay, he was a pro. Mobb Deep was a pro. Black Dave was a pro. And, Tyler, the creator, what a jerk off trying to start a riot over at Scoot Inn. I'm glad you got arrested. That dude is a scumbag. Only a person after the day after a tragedy would start to try to cause a riot. That is the absolute kind of scumbaggery that gives hip hop a bad name. Can we be honest here? All right. Not everyone, just like all cops are not painted by the asshole, not all hip hop are painted by these assholes. But when they act in such a complete disregard for the safety, for the people who own the venue, for the security, it doesn't matter. That being said, the dude who was cool, the dude from The Wire, Mac Wild, boom, selfie. Follow me on Instagram. You can go look at it at Real John Tole. So, of course, I was looking through my photos, and I told you I only got a few stories here. So I go on and I go survey. Unflattering selfies may be responsible for the increase in cosmetic procedures. And I go, yeah, you know what? The only thing I would get done right now is I would get new hamstrings put on the back of my legs so I would not be such an absolute mess and piece of crap. Ugh. If you've ever looked at a photo of yourself online and cringed, well, here we are. You might not be surprised by a new study that suggests selfies are contributed to an increase in the number of people seeking plastic surgery, according to a study done by the AAFPR, and I'm not even going to read it. If you have that many names in your organization, you're a dick. 1 in 3 plastic surgeons saw a rise in procedures from patients claiming to be unhappy how they look on social media. Well, that's why I do podcasts, because I don't like the way I look on social media. 13% of doctors surveyed identified increased photo sharing and patients' dissatisfaction with their looks online as a quote-unquote rising trend in the cosmetic surgery industry. Doctors cited 10% increase in rhinoplasty. That's the nose one, right? Is the rhino... Yeah, the rhino's like the nose one, right? Because the vagina is the vagina one, see? And plasty's just whatever the rest of that means. Told you I'm a philosophy major. I don't know a lot about these big words, all right? 7% increase in hair oh, what? Who's still getting plugs? And a 6% increase in eyelid surgery. Oh, could you imagine? I can't even get LASIK because what I'm supposed to stare off into a laser, the same laser that they used to blow up Alderaan. Like I'm supposed to stare into this thing and not be freaked. I couldn't do it. I'm gonna have to end up. I'm gonna be that old guy playing beer league softball, wearing those goggles, where like the dude with like not even croquis and glasses, but the actual sport goggle. My buddy Trent Petrie. I think he played with me at Texas Tech. He wore those goggles, and I always said, that's a gamer. You're like Chris Sabo from the Reds. Oh, now I'm going old school. God, this is a baseball-heavy podcast. Well, pitchers and catchers reported, and the Red Sox are absolutely ready. And then the page loads. You sit on the internet, and the page loads, and you're like, dude, I was halfway through the article, and now I have to wait for this thing to online, and then I have to have the little pop-up that goes on my computer and tells me all the companies that are stealing all of my information in alphabetical order listed there on the purple because you have the Chrome plugin. I can't sit here and keep this narrative going because it won't let me bring the story down. He's going to have to bail on it. Finally, the story picks up, it moves, he brings it into play, throws in the deal. He's got the out. Social platforms like Instagram, Snapchat, and iPhone selfie.io, which are solely image-based, force patients to hold a microscope up to their own image and look at it with more self-critical eye than ever before. Said Edward Ferrier, medical doctor, president of the American Academy of Facial, Plastic, and Reconstructive Surgery. That is that other acronym that I said earlier. These images are often the most first impressions young people put out there to their prospective friends, romantic interests, and employers, and our patients want to put their best face forward, their best surgically enhanced face forward, that is. That's coming to you from Philly, and I've been to Philly, and you know what? People, you end up, and they have some weird bodies in there. You end up looking like a cheesesteak, all right? And I'm a guy, and I'm not in good shape. I'm going for my colonoscopy. Yeah, 25th of this month. Yeah, what does your month look like? I'm going to tell you where I'm going to be. 25th. All right, let's break it down. All right, 21st, I'm going to be headlining the Shinebox Showcase here in Austin, Texas. 23rd, Monkey Shine Sunday at the 1-to-1 bar there on Lamar. I will be hosting the show. Katie Pengra's on the show. Mac Blake is on the show. Charlie Hodge will be there. Mark Wilson from Sweat and Lotion will be there. So come on out and do that. 25th, I lay down. They scope me out. They clean whatever's bad news going on in there. And the 27th, I'm in a car and I'm heading off to Wichita. I will be at the Looney Bin. And then after that, I will be heading off to Little Rock, Arkansas to do that room. And also the Looney Bin there in Little Rock. I'll be heading back to Austin for a couple days. And then Dina and I are winging our way. Oh, taking my way back to you, babe. Heading off to Anchorage for Chill Coots Charlie's, Coots.com, KOOTS.com. Looking forward, hopefully, to seeing my buddies Chris, my buddy Brock. Oh, Richard, are you going to be out there? Of course, we're going to talk China conspiracies, my man. We're going to down some Jamesons. Hopefully, all my good friends are still there and be able to hang out and enjoy the amazing city that Anchorage is. We fly to the Bay Area. We're there for a week, and then we head back to Austin to where do we go then? Oh, and then we're doing Moon Tower. We'll be there in recording Moon Tower capacity. And then I head off to the Mall of the Americas in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to go at the House of Comedy. Looking forward to see. Guess who got the award for most liked out of town comic, I think, or honorary Minnesota comic? Myself. I am the proud owner of a Reapy. And so I was able to, I got some food with Dan from Stand Up Records, who was nice enough to put me on a showcase this weekend. And he handed me my award, which is a Reapy Award, which is an upside down cross with pentagrams painted on it. And I said, I can't bring this into my house, dude. But I took a picture of it. I took a selfie of me and the me eating barbecue with the award. So look, should I be eating barbecue? No, because I got to go get my colonoscopy. What do I give this guy more stuff to clean out when he's in there? Gross. British archaeologists have found what they say is the world's oldest complete example of a human being with cancer, and will offer new clues about the now common and often fatal disease. 3,000-year-old skeleton found in Sudan. Oh, could you imagine? Not only you're 3,000 years old, you have cancer, but you got to live in the Sudan. Analyzing the skeleton using radiography and scanning electron microscope, they managed to get clear imaging of lesions on the bones, which showed the cancer to have spread to cause tumors on the collarbones, shoulder blades, upper arms, vertebrae, ribs, pelvis, and thigh bones. Oh, could you imagine? Not only do you have cancer, you're a slave. You're pulling these rocks up, making these pyramids because the aliens are on break. But that's it. So, hey, good. Look, we're all gonna look. Can we? I don't want to break it down. I don't want to go conspiracy weird 5,000. All right. We don't know where this plane is. We know why troops are amassing in Crimea. We know that that's all about currency. That's all about money. That's all about profits. That's what's going on there. We also know that the globe is slowly warming. And as the globe slowly warms, the humans' inability to deal with said heat are going to cause them to act in an out-of-control nature. They're already being absolutely distracted and having their minds pulverized with short blasts of images that keep them in a fearful state. So the heat's going to rise. They're going to be more distracted. They're not going to have the ability to cope with the tragedies that are going to befall them. People are going to start feasting on each other, and that will be the ultimate fall of society as they dump the dollar in a global setting, and we lose our control of the internet. We lose our control of the currency because we are a bully, and sometimes there's an ebb and a flow, and I can guarantee who's ever at the root of that currency is already planning on the next shift and how they're going to profit off said thing. Oh, did he break down the Illuminati in a second? What do you think? What do you think? And then you always get the people I wrote. Oh, you really believe stuff like that? You absolutely, seriously, you really, dude, you went to college, dude. Yeah, but I have a philosophy degree. You know what I mean? I'm full of it. Dailymail.co.uk, my favorite. Cars could soon monitor our emotions. Device reads facial expressions to prevent roid rage. Or road rage. Scientists at École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne in Switzerland, I think I just read that in bad French, have developed the system which identifies which of the 7 universal emotions a person is feeling: fear, anger, joy, sadness, disgust, surprise, or suspicion. If you guys wonder what it looks like when I look at my body in the mirror when I'm naked and I go, God, you got to work out, every single one of those 7 emotions happen in the same time. They believe their technology can be the use of medicine, marketing, gaming, and in driver safety. That's marketing. That's why they're doing it. We know that in addition to fatigue, the emotional state of the driver is a risk factor. The researchers say irritation in particular can make them more aggressive and less attentive. Of course. But that's why you listen to Carpath Diem. That's why you got a Miller Lite cracked and you're not even driving. You're not even going to be a road rage because I'm driving. All right, I drive the cart. This is how it works. I drive the cart, you ride. Okay, and that's how it goes down. My dad, he doesn't ride. He only drives. So when we golf, he drives, I ride. It's perfect. It's the perfect balance. Research is at EPFL Signal Processing 5 laboratory came upon the idea of adapting a facial detection device for use in a car by using an infrared camera placed behind the steering wheel. The problem was to get the device to recognize irritation on the face of a driver. They said, because everyone expresses this emotional state differently, and now they're figuring out how to do it. This is where we're at. Oh, they're going to start reading your face. Then they're going to know who your face is. Then your car is going to know that you're in the car. Then you're going to be listening to you're going to be listening to 4256 productions.com, our live feed. You're going to be listening to that. You're just going to get in your car. You're going to turn it on, and you're going to say, "Bring me Tole 4256 hut." And then the car is going to give you the site, and then boom, you're going to be streaming content right out of the production studio. So you're not going to be mad. But that's what they're doing. They have actually the technology now where they're monitoring facial, and you don't think there's somebody controlling the world. They're doing this to sell you crap, man. They're doing this because if you keep seeing the same thing over and over and over, you will be hypnotized. Every single bit of communication, even nonverbal, is hypnotism, all right? Think about that. All communication is hypnotism. So why is somebody trying to subconsciously alter the way you should be naturally reacting to life? Think about that. You don't think there's a plot? Of course there's always a plot. The thing is these people coming up with technology, are they doing it for good reasons? Are they doing it for nefarious reasons, all right? Could we condemn criminals to suffer for hundreds of years? Biotechnology could let us extend convicts' lives indefinitely. All right, so here's the thing. So we know this Rashad kid that murdered 3 people there at South by Southwest. People are saying, he's getting charged with capital murder. And in this state, bro, in Texas, you don't screw around with that. That kid has the possibility to take the needle. All right, but what if you could? And what they're studying right now is changing the way people explain and understand time and have the ability to manipulate time and our ability to perceive it. That is where we're going right now. We're going to implantable technology, we're going to cryptocurrency, and we're going to mind manipulation to actually finish the enslavement of mankind. Thank you. Sentencing a criminal to 1,000 years in an artificial hell may one day become a reality. At least that is the claim of scientists at Oxford University. Oh, that's Oxford. They're the smart. That's the Harvard where they're smarter. Who have been exploring controversial technologies that could extend human life. They say billions. Who has billions? Who are investing? All right, first of all, who has billions of dollars? All right, who has billions of dollars? And this is what they're investing in. Nobody has the cure for cancer. They're spending so little time figuring out how to cure cancer. We're digging up mummies. All right, we're going 3,000 years in the future trying to figure that out. They say billions are being invested in techniques that could mean the cruelest criminals would be kept alive indefinitely in condition befitting their crime. According to the research, prison firms could develop drugs that make time pass slowly, making an inmate's sentence feel like an eternity. Last year, a team of scientists led by Rebecca Roach began exploring techniques that could keep prisoners in an artificial hell. Some crimes are so bad they require a really long period of punishment, and a lot of people seem to get out of the punishment by dying. Ugh. Do you understand? All right. Look, I don't know where you weigh on this. All right. Is this right? To have the ability to do this, and then what are you going to say? Yeah, but what if you caught Hitler? Wouldn't you want Hitler to be in the artificial hell doing that? No. You know what I think? I think when they get to the ability to take our consciousness and turn it digitally, and they're only going to be able to do that by having the interface where you physically take the technology. I hate to go revelations on you guys, but that's the mark of the beast. Taking the actual chip, taking your humanity, and adding, that's why the supercomputer has gone from a building to a phone to a pair of glasses to an earring to a chip inside of your body. And once you take that, they are going to hijack your body. They're going to hijack your consciousness, because if this is what people are spending billions of dollars on for absolute human control, you can guarantee they're going to come at you in a way to say, come on, everyone else is doing it. Look at how safe it is. And after a few years and a few good stories, yeah, they're going to turn off everybody's chip. I've been saying it this whole time. So look, You got a bad guy like Hitler. Does this guy want to live in this forever hell? Well, why do we want to do that to people? Think about that. What kind of benevolent humanity wants to imprison people in a digital hell? Think about that. That is actually what's going on. And I get it. It's from the Daily Mail. It's from the UK. Look, I told you, I only got 8 stories. That was it. All right. Jesus Christ. John, can you breathe here? All right, look, I'm going to have a sip of this. Now I'm drinking Diet Coke. I don't know that that's refreshing. I got to drink more water. On a practical ethics blog, Dr. Roach notes that Luzak and Krzolak will receive humane treatment that Daniel never did. Oh, no, they were talking about these people. They killed this kid. They will, for example, be fed and watered, housed in clean cells, allowed access to toilet and washing facilities, allowed out of their cells for exercise and recreation. Turning to human engineering as a possible solution, she looks at the idea of lifespan enhancement so that a life sentence in prison could last hundreds of years. Dr. Aubrey de Grey, co-founder of the Anti-Aging Sentence Research Foundation, believes that the first person to live to 1,000 years old has already been born. That is an absolute... What was that meeting like? You sit down and you got these billionaires staring at you. They're all smoking cigars. It's an oak-filled... I'm assuming it'd have to be an oak-filled room, right? And everybody would have nice chairs. Everybody has a butler standing next to them, and on that it's like their own... I don't know. Imagine whatever kind of drink you think these millionaires would be drinking. All right, it's not a guy bringing in Starbucks in the office and everyone's got a nice one. It's not like your corporate meeting. It's not. Okay, this little meeting in Illuminati. And the person walks to that table and they go, gentlemen, the first person to live for 1,000 years is already alive. We already know how to figure out how to make people live forever. If you guys want in on this opportunity, because when we figure out how to do it, you're going to be the first people. Get on board. Give us your money now. And these billionaires just opened up their dough and they want to live forever. Think about that. What kind of evil entity wants to avoid death and the final judgment? Oh, he's taking it to a weird level. I feel like Constantine's playing somewhere in somebody else's TV. She said the society might not be far off from developing a pill that can make somebody feel like they were serving 1,000-year sentence. Time distortion, for instance, is already a technique used in interrogation where people are exposed to constant light or unusual light changes so they can't tell what time of the day is. So look, the torture that we're doing in Gitmo right now, the things that we're doing to these poor uncharged citizens in this camp of tortures that we run, that Obama promised to close in 2008 and still hasn't. The torture that we're doing to those people is the same kind of time distortion. And who's investing in that? It's the same people that are investing in that, okay? This is what they're figuring out. Dude, doesn't this make sense? The same tortures that they're doing, they're figuring out how... They're using these people as guinea pigs for the time distortion. Jesus, I hope somebody doesn't put a bullet in my head. If that's the right answer, I hope I at least get to star in the documentary. This story's making me weird. This story, it's weirding me out. All right, look, I think I'm right. I don't think I'm wrong in this. I absolutely don't think I'm wrong, and I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair, but I don't think that. Look, is there any kind of criminal that deserves that kind of inhumane sentence? And it actually is an inhumane sentence, because a humane sentence means you die when your physicality die. An inhumane sentence is a sentence that takes your humanity and renders it useless, all right? And are there people that might have done some things that might deserve a punishment that is befitting their crime? Yeah, but I don't think that's it. But and I told you I only had 8 stories, and this one I found because someone was doing a got your nose joke on Facebook, and I go to sanfrancisco.cbslocal.com, Fairfield, man, and that's up in the, that's like what? It's about 45 minutes from where I grew up. Fairfield man arrested for allegedly biting the nose off his infant son. Ugh. What are you doing, dude? An 18-year-old Fairfield man has been arrested for biting the nose off his infant son. Police said Fairfield police received a phone call from a hysterical female saying her infant son was bleeding from its nose. Doctors at the North Bay Medical Center determined the infant's nose had been severed and the child had possible head trauma, according to a play. What are you doing, dude? What are you doing having kids? And dude, this Rashad character that drove through South by, 6 kids, 21 years old. What do you think about that? Guys, use a condom, all right? Look, I'm not, but you are, all right? Look, I've already figured out that I can't make kids. I can't make them. It's impossible. No, I've been trying for a long time, and I always taunt Dina with, like, I'm going to do it. This is going to be the one. And she's like, stop. And I know her fear. The infant was later taken to Oakland Children's Hospital, where doctors determined the 1-month-old infant had a skull fracture, a brain hemorrhage, and geez, dude. Now, maybe this is a guy. Now, here you are on the fence. You're on the Palin death panel of who gets who in the digital age of putting people away. What is the level of crime of heinocity? Is that a word? It is now. What is the level of crime a person has to do? If they act humane, are they treated inhumane? Is that what's going? And maybe the people that are investing are doing it in a benevolent sense. I guess the question is, what happens when that technology isn't used for the absolute justice? We have so many people inside who are being incarcerated right this second. Thousands of innocent men are rotting away. Thousands of people have been murdered by our country who are innocent of crimes that someone had pinned on them because they made up a story. All right? And that's it. People make up stories. So the thing is, once you have this technology to take people and turn them and take their humanity away from them, because while they will still physically be humans, their brain will be manipulated into a hellish existence. And who would make that? Somebody who needs more people in the hellish existence, or somebody trying to clean house? I don't know. I don't have $1 billion, so I wasn't sitting inside of that meeting when they figured it out. I'm sitting here in a golf cart outside at Willie Nelson's golf course. And I've got my microphone, and I've got my buddies, and the sun's shining, and I'm having a great time, and the birds are chirping, and I'm living the dream. And I want you to look around where you are right now, and I hope you're doing the same. And I hope to hear from you next week as you go through the show and say, hey, I got to drop this dude a message. Hit me up, Facebook and Twitter at John Tole, JohnTole.com, 4256productions.com. Thanks for adding the show. You can get it on iTunes and Stitcher. We know that. You can go to the Libsyn page. You can do that as well. Interact, share it. If you've got, if you've got a band, maybe you've got a band, you want me to check it out, you want to be the new band on Old Head New Metal, brought to you by Metal Blade, you can do that, all right? Thanks to Metal Blade Records. Thanks to Marshall. Thanks to Bitcoin. Thanks to Miller Lite. Thanks to Willie Nelson's Golf Course. Thanks to Topgolf. Thank you to Charlie Hodge DeBito, Cabby Mike, who I'm going to be doing a show with. And, of course, I could never leave out my podcast brothers in arms, my punk rock brothers, dudes, who I feel like I've been known forever. Check out the Back Porch Podcast. Shout out to Taylor and Chase. Check out their show. It's on Podomatic. And there we go. Thank you to Matt Sadler. Thank you to Matt Bearden. Thank you to L.A. Lloyd. Thank you to CJ. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to John. Thank you to Whitney. Thank you to everybody at KLBJ. Everybody at the Mohawk. Everybody from South by Southwest. Everybody who set up the barbecue yesterday that I injured my hamstrings at. Next year, I'm going to be challenging, coming back for the South by Southwest podcast extravaganza hosted by me. Oh, stay tuned. We got a lot of things working here in the production center. Guys, I'm out of here. This is Cart Path Diem, episode 11. Share it with your friends, guys. God bless.
I used to think that only America's way was right. But now the holy dollar rules everybody's life. Gotta make $1 million, doesn't matter who dies. Revolution calling, revolution calling, revolution calling, yeah. There's a revolution calling, revolution calling. Gotta make a change, gotta push, gotta push it through.
Check out other podcasts from the Tasty Podcast Network at tastypodcast.com and on iTunes.
4256.